The gentle May sunlight streamed through the large windows of the Cambridge Public Library. In the children's section, Jennifer Wilson smiled warmly as she handed books to her young visitors. Even at 35, she felt truly blessed to work in the place where she had met her husband Michael 13 years ago. "Hey, Miss Jennifer, which book will you read to us next?" Jennifer smiled tenderly at the little boy's question. She loved her job. Though a librarian's salary wasn't particularly high, nothing made her prouder than seeing the pure smiles on children's faces. Well. Just as she was about to answer, her smartphone vibrated. The screen showed Michael. Today was the day of the wedding preparation meeting for her sister-in-law Ashley. "I'm sorry. I need to take this call." Her husband's slightly tense voice came through the phone. "Jenny, Mom wants to meet at that place." Jennifer caught her breath. That place meant Martha's mansion on Brattle Street. It was rare for her mother-in-law to invite their family to her home. "All right. I'll head over right after picking up Amy from school." After hanging up, a heavy atmosphere lingered around her. Martha was a prominent figure in Cambridge society. And for 13 years, she had consistently disapproved of Jennifer as her son's wife. "Mom, are you okay?" Amy, who had just finished her middle school library committee meeting, peered worriedly at her mother's expression from the passenger seat. The 12-year-old daughter had inherited her mother's gentle nature. "Yes, I'm fine. It's just, we're going to grandmother's house." Amy's expression clouded. Martha was cold to her granddaughter too. Amy had desperately tried to gain the approval of her grandmother, who used the phrase, "library raised," as if it were an insult. Parking in front of the historic Victorian mansion on Brattle Street, they saw Ashley's brand new BMW already parked. She worked at a local luxury real estate company. Recently, there had been talk about her purchasing an ultra-luxury condominium along the Charles River. "Well, finally you're here." Ashley's shrill voice echoed as she opened the door. Dressed in a flashy designer dress, she looked down at Jennifer and Amy with an air of superiority. In the living room, Martha sat with dignified posture. Next to her was Ashley's fiancé, Jason Clark, a well-regarded young lawyer in the area. "You're late, Jennifer." Martha's cold voice resonated. "Working at the library?" Her words carried obvious sarcasm. "Yes, that's right." Jennifer answered with dignity. Michael silently held his wife's hand. He was a gentle husband, but his tendency to avoid conflict with his mother sometimes left Jennifer feeling lonely. "Today, we're doing the final check for Ashley's wedding," Martha began. "It's a Martin family tradition. This ring has been worn by the eldest daughter at her wedding for generations." An antique jewelry box sat on the table. Inside was a spectacular ring with sparkling diamonds. "It's worth $150,000, Ashley boasted proudly. In that moment, Jennifer didn't miss the strange glint in her sister-in-law's eyes. Perhaps it was a harbinger of the tragedy to come. The spire of Christ Church, Cambridge, reached toward the fresh blue May sky. Since its founding in 1759, this historic church had witnessed countless weddings of prominent families. Today too, sunlight filtered through the stained glass windows, bathing the solemn altar in its glow. "Amy, your hair ornament is slightly askew." In the powder room, Jennifer gently adjusted her daughter's hair. Amy, dressed in a pale pink dress, secretly felt proud of her role as a cousin in the wedding. "Mom, everything will go well today, right?" Jennifer smiled at the question. However, beneath her expression lurked a faint anxiety. Ashley had seemed somewhat unsettled during yesterday's final rehearsal. Yes, it will be a beautiful ceremony. The main hall was already filled with over 100 guests. Leaders of Boston's legal community, Cambridge dignitaries. Martha wore a satisfied expression at this gathering of high society. "Oh, Jennifer." Coming out of the powder room, they ran into Kate, Ashley's best friend and chief bridesmaid. She appeared to be filming something with her latest iPhone. "It's going to be a lovely ceremony." While nodding at Kate's words, Jennifer didn't miss the shadow that briefly crossed her face. "Ma'am, the ceremony will begin soon." At the staff member's prompting, guests began taking their seats. Jason waited at the altar, looking slightly nervous. Suddenly, a scream rang out from the preparation room. "The ring! My engagement ring is gone!" Ashley's cry froze the venue, and Martha rushed over. Ashley's face had turned pale. That child stole it." A trembling finger pointed at Amy. "I definitely saw her, coming into the changing room." "Amy?" Michael stared at his daughter. The color drained from Amy's face. No. The girl's voice trembled. "I didn't do anything." "Mom, call the police." Martha raised her hand to stop Ashley's words. Her expression showed something like determination. "Shameless." Martha's voice rang out coldly. "You and Amy leave immediately." "Wait." "Amy, absolutely." Despite Jennifer's desperate plea, cold stares swirled around the venue. "A librarian's daughter is a thief. I guess breeding does show." Poor Martha. The whispers cut like knives. "Jenny, let's go home for now." Michael spoke softly. His voice carried its usual indecisiveness. "Don't you believe her? She's your daughter." Jennifer's question was met with averted eyes from her husband. "Amy, let's go." Jennifer wrapped her arm around her daughter's shoulders with dignified composure. The girl's eyes were clouded with tears. Martha and Ashley wore triumphant expressions. "Dad." Amy's trembling voice pierced Michael's back. But he could only stand there, frozen. As they left the church, the light through the stained glass appeared blood-red. This was the beginning of the end of their world as they knew it. In the back seat of the taxi, Amy buried her face in her mother's chest, crying. "I didn't do anything, believe me." "Of course. I believe you." Jennifer held her daughter tightly. Outside the car window, the sunlight still sparkled. But in their hearts, dark shadows had already begun to spread. No one could have known that the events of this day were just the beginning. The sound of rain hitting the windows deepened the silence in the Wilson home. Sunday morning had dawned after the wedding day, and Jennifer hadn't slept at all. "Mom." Amy's face, coming down the stairs, was as pale as a shadow. Seeing her daughter who hadn't eaten anything since last night, the mother's heart tightened. "Can you eat something? Just some toast." As she gently touched her daughter's hair, who shook her head, their bodies tensed at the sound from the living room TV. There has been a new development in the shocking incident that occurred at yesterday's wedding at Christ Church, Cambridge. The screen showed the local news anchor's face, clearly different from their usual calm expression. A social media live stream video, allegedly taken by one of the attendees during wedding preparations, is causing huge waves on the internet. In this video, Jennifer caught her breath at the footage that followed. In the church's preparation room, Kate, Ashley's best friend, showing a smiling face in selfie mode. But what was captured in the background? As if those people would have such an expensive ring. Martha's voice was clearly recorded. If we blame Amy, it'll be perfect. Everyone would suspect her, that library raised. Ashley's voice. And then the decisive moment. The footage clearly showed Martha taking out the ring and putting it in Ashley's luxury handbag. Amy. Michael's voice echoed as he ran down the stairs. His smartphone trembled in his hand. Taking this matter seriously, the groom, attorney Jason Clark, has announced the cancellation of the marriage. I will never forgive this despicable act against a 12-year-old girl, he stated. The TV played Jason's trembling, angry statement. As a member of the legal profession, I will thoroughly investigate this unconscionable act. The actions of Martha Martin and Ashley Martin go beyond mere defamation, constituting serious psychological abuse of a minor. At that moment, the doorbell rang. Please, we'd like an interview. Could we get Amy's comment? The reporter's shouts echoed through the quiet residential street. Dad. Michael held Amy tightly at her trembling voice. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, Amy. If only Dad had. Just then, Michael's smartphone rang. The screen showed Mother. Michael hesitated for a moment but resolutely answered the phone. Don't ever call again. His voice carried a coldness never heard before. Michael. I'm your mother. No, not anymore. There's an explanation. What explanation could there be for throwing a 12-year-old girl, your own granddaughter, into hell? The sound of Martha choking could be heard through the phone. Ashley was in trouble, if we could sell the ring. Money? This was all about money. No. Our family's reputation. Family reputation. Michael gave a sardonic smile. Right now, your precious reputation on Brattle Street is in tatters. Martha Martin's shame is trending on social media. Meanwhile, a new storm was raging through Cambridge. Breaking news: new testimony in the Christchurch Cambridge wedding fraud case. Shocking revelation from insider about suspect Martha Martin's financial situation. Suspect Ashley Martin discovered to have unpaid contract money for luxury Charles River condominium. And the situation continued to develop in unexpected directions. A new confession had been posted on Kate's social media account. I can't stay silent anymore. This isn't just about falsely accusing someone of stealing a ring. This was the culmination of years of scheming by the Martin family. In subsequent posts, she revealed everything. Ashley was desperate because she couldn't raise the $300,000 contract money for the luxury condominium. And Martha. She had been planning to drive Jennifer out for 13 years. Because a woman working in a library wasn't worthy of the Martin family status. The post spread instantly, shaking Cambridge to its core. At Christchurch, Cambridge, an emergency press conference was being held. As a church, we take this incident very seriously. Following the church representative's statement, Jason appeared again. I want to offer my sincere apologies to Amy and her family. The solemn church atmosphere made his words even weightier. And I pledge to thoroughly investigate this incident and pursue the legal responsibilities of those involved. Meanwhile, the Wilson home was receiving an unexpected visitor. Kate. Jennifer opened the door hesitantly. I'm sorry, at this hour. In her hands, she clutched a small memory card. This is where it all began. What she handed over with trembling hands was security camera footage from the day before the wedding. This shows that Martha and Ashley had already arranged a buyer for the ring. As Jennifer stood frozen, Kate continued quietly. I couldn't be complicit in these lies anymore. At that moment, Amy ran over and hugged Kate. Thank you, thank you. The girl's tears wet Kate's blouse. Outside the window, the rain had stopped, and thin sunlight began to shine through. It was like morning light awakening from a long nightmare. However, this wasn't the end, but a new beginning. The story of the Martin family's collapse and the Wilson family's truth would continue. The children's section of Cambridge Public Library had regained its usual peaceful atmosphere. On an early summer afternoon 1 month after the incident, Jennifer had finally returned to work. Miss Jennifer is back. Children's voices echoed through the quiet library. Usually, this would call for a reminder about library voices, but today was special. Even the library director watched with warm eyes. How's Amy? Will we see her again? Jennifer smiled gently at the children's questions. Yes, very soon. We're having a special storytelling session today. Just then, a small commotion arose at the library entrance. Ah! Amy entered, accompanied by Michael. Behind the girls stood Jason's dignified figure. Everyone. Jason stepped forward. His solemn lawyer's voice resonated through the library. Today, we have a very important apology and announcement. Local media cameras flashed behind him. First, regarding the malicious defamation against Amy Wilson. On behalf of Christ Church Cambridge and all parties involved, I offer our deepest apologies. Jason bowed deeply. And I would like to announce the establishment of a foundation to restore Amy's honor. A small murmur rippled through the venue. The Amy Wilson Foundation for Library Children. A foundation to support children who learn and grow in libraries. Christ Church Cambridge and my law firm will provide full support. Large tears welled up in Amy's eyes. As the Foundation's first initiative, a new children's section will be established at Cambridge Public Library. It will be called. Jason paused briefly. The Truth and Love Corner. A place for truth and love. Silence enveloped the library. Then, one boy stood up. I know. Amy always helped me when she was the library committee president. Me too. She kindly helped me when I didn't understand my homework. Voices began rising one after another. The children's pure feelings rang out, as if dispelling the dark shadows of the past. Meanwhile, at the mansion on Brattle Street, a different scene was unfolding. Please limit what you take to the essentials. The court officer's cold voice echoed. Martha stared vacantly at her mansion. The flow of funds from the ring sale has been discovered, and there are suspicions of tax evasion. Regarding suspect Ashley's luxury condominium fraud case as well. Business-like conversations echoed coldly through the once glamorous mansion. Ashley had already been voluntarily questioned at the local police station. What awaited her was numerous debts, a broken engagement, and legal responsibility. Meanwhile, at the library, a warm atmosphere spread. Mom. Amy squeezed Jennifer's hand tightly. I've decided. When I grow up, I want to be a lawyer. Like Jason, a lawyer who helps people in trouble. Michael nodded quietly at those words. That's right. Dad will support you with everything he has. His voice no longer held any hesitation. His regret for hurting his wife and daughter had transformed into new determination. But before that, Amy walked toward the new children's corner. Can I do today's storytelling? The library director nodded kindly. In front of the children seated in small chairs, Amy opened a book. Today's book is The Truth Behind the Rainbow. The real story beyond the rainbow. Jennifer watched her daughter's dignified figure from behind. Tears rolled down her cheeks. But these weren't tears of sadness, they were tears of pride and hope. Outside the window, early summer sunlight poured down. And on the library's small window, a beautiful rainbow appeared. A new story begins here. A story full of hope, where truth triumphs and love overcomes trials. Christ Church, Cambridge's Wedding Hall. Early summer, 1 year later. This time, Jason stood at the altar as the groom. But this time, the bride wasn't Ashley. Your courage taught me the importance of truth. Kate smiled in her pure white dress. In the front row sat the three Wilsons. Amy proudly held a bouquet. Dearly beloved, we are gathered here. As the minister's voice rang out, Jennifer quietly closed her eyes. This was true happiness. Not money or status, but happiness supported by genuine love filled this place. Sunlight once again filtered through Christ Church, Cambridge's stained glass windows. This time, the light was warm and full of blessings. One story ended, and another was about to begin. It was a story of a more beautiful tomorrow, illuminated by truth and love.